Hello, my name is John Rydell. I'm the owner of A+ Appraisals. Just a little background on my company and myself. I started appraising real estate back in 1985 for Home Savings of America, the largest lender in the United States at the time. I knew nothing about real estate appraising. They taught me everything, so I was trained by the biggest and the best. Then in 1987, I started my company called A+ Appraisals. Something that's interesting that most people do not know, back in 1987, when I went knocking on mortgage people's doors, trying to drum up clients, the average turnaround time on a mortgage appraisal was 2 weeks. Now, I couldn't believe that because when I worked for Home Savings, one of the requirements for Home Savings was that we actually complete, if they had the work, 3 appraisals in 1 day. Now, it was a shorter form, it wasn't the standard industry, but 3 appraisals in 1 day. So when I talked to the brokers and they said, our appraiser takes 2 weeks, I said, well, how would you like to have that same appraisal in 2 days? It's now 2010. Some of the original clients that I have still use me. That's 24 years later. Back at the height of the real estate market, the state of California had over 20,000 real estate appraisers. Why select A+ Appraisals? Why select me to do your appraisal? What sets me apart from my competition? Well, probably the number one reason people use my service is my speed. I mentioned earlier that back in 1987, most appraisers took 2 weeks to complete an appraisal. I took 2 days. That was before computers. That was with my old Selectric typewriter. That meant that an appraisal that was completed for somebody that's not local meant that for them to receive the appraisal in 2 days, I had to FedEx the appraisal to them so that they would get it. I spent hundreds of dollars monthly to pay my FedEx bill, but they got their appraisal within 48 hours. Now, thank goodness, we have email capability, so all I have to do is push a button and it's emailed to them instantly. In terms of my speed, my record appraisal for a family law attorney was 4 hours from the time of my inspection to the time that I actually emailed the appraisal to them. They had called on a Monday afternoon about 3:30. They said, John, we're due in court Wednesday morning. Can you get us the appraisal before Wednesday? I said, if you can get me into the house today, you'll have it. They were able to get me into the house at 5:30 that afternoon. I came back to the office, and by 9:30 that evening, I emailed them the finished product. 4 hours, that's my record. I like to tell the story of the time that I arrived at a property at 10:30 in the morning, and I completed the appraisal at 5:30 in the afternoon. That's 7 hours. That's not real fast for me, except when I tell you that the house was 4 blocks from San Diego State University. Yes, that's right. An appraisal all the way in San Diego from my office in Lakewood, California, completed in 7 hours. Another thing that sets me out from my competition is the fact that when I started my company in 1987, I kept all the sales records for Los Angeles and Orange County. What does that mean for like an estate attorney or family law attorney where you need a value back in time? What it means is this. I went to a property in Long Beach for a lady. I was appraising her house for a current value. She said, John, as she was writing me the check for the appraisal, John, my father passed away in September 1995, and I just found out that I should have had it appraised way back then. Can you complete an appraisal back that far in time for me? I said, absolutely. She didn't know that I have all of the records for Los Angeles and Orange County in my garage. So what did I do? I went back to the office, went through my records in the garage, went back to her neighborhood, took pictures of the sales that were pertinent for back in September 1995, went back to the office, typed up the report. That very same day that she asked me whether I could complete an appraisal for her back in time, I emailed her that appraisal. Other appraisers don't have that information that I do. Some people think it's on a site somewhere on the internet. No, it's not. The multiple listing service that realtors use only goes back 4 or 5 years. I go back all the way to 1987. That's 23 years. That's a long time. And that's a major differentiation between me and my competition. So if you're an estate attorney, or you're a family law attorney, or even a tax attorney, and you need forensic appraisals, we could also call them historical appraisals, going back in time, I'm your man. And you'll get it within hours, and at a very reasonable price. That's another thing that sets me apart. Right now I have a special for a single family residence, under 2,400 square feet, under $1 million, local property, $349 for a full appraisal. That's right, $349. That even includes an FHA appraisal. Those prices are far lower than other appraisers charge. Recently, I was given an FHA appraisal order, and on the order form, they had at the bottom, appraisal fee, $450. Well, I called the lender and I said, I've got a special. Tell your client instead of $450, they'll only have to pay $349. Well, they were ecstatic, both the lender and the client. So how can I, John Rydell, owner of A+ Appraisals, help you? I'm going to give you outstanding service. I'm going to give you an appraisal within 24 hours of my inspection. I'm going to give you a very reasonable fee. I'm going to be able to provide information for historical appraisals that other appraisers are not able to. I'd love to be your appraiser. Please give me a call. I'll give you my local number. It's area code 562-425-0564. That's 562-425-0564. And my email address is jrrydell, so it's jrrydell @AOL.com. I look forward to doing business with you and for your clients. You won't be disappointed. Thank you so much.